There are many interactive digital textbooks available. All the major textbook publishers have them. Not static, like you say, but interactive. So are you saying that you aren't able to purchase those currently because they're not approved by the state for Williams?
So,
and what's the timeline on the state approving it if that's the case? Because a lot of people, when I tell them the district isn't planning to put textbooks on them, both teachers, students, and the tax-paying public, they just throw their hands up and say, well, what's the point? You know, if it's not going to save us any money, if it's not going to save us from dumping paper into landfills and killing trees, why are we spending $2 billion on this if you're not going to be able to put textbooks on it, something that basic? So do you have a timeline, and do you know if any of the textbook publishers have any e-textbooks that are Williams compliant?
So on the terminology issue, that's why I give an explanation as to the way we've been using the terminology. The reality is that there's going to be different terminology used as the industry evolves. In terms of whether we're going to be purchasing e-textbooks, that goes through its traditional adoption cycle, which what the CDE has done with the prison curriculum has done with that this past fall. So, so as digital textbooks become available, and there's some of the recent legislation that's actually working in this effort, the whole industry there around textbooks is changing. And as textbooks, e-textbooks, or however we're going to refer to them, become available at the state in the traditional adoption cycles, then that becomes part of our standard adoption piece. However, for the Common Core technology project, because the curriculum is already on there and if the state has approved that, then that is a way that ultimately meets the Williams compliance. So I'm not sure if I'm answering the question because I'm not sure I heard one, but I'm just giving you a response.
Well, here's a question then. Lisa Karahalios, UTLA, by the way. Can you research and find out if there are any e-textbooks available? From what I've seen, it's the textbook I already have, but it has supplemental activities and videos attached to it. So if the core textbook is approved by the state, maybe you can find out this. Can we use it and start using the e-textbooks immediately? So would you research, find out if there are any e-textbooks available for LAUSD's use that meet the Williams complaint law?
So I'm trying to understand your question. So are there e-textbooks available? Yes, they're out there. Are there e-textbooks available under Williams? Yes, they're out there. Have we adopted those right now? No, because we are moving with the curriculum that's new under Common Core that's just now being adopted by the state. Another point that I don't think we've emphasized enough in our discussion is, and when Dr. Aquino was here and we had the conversation with the vendors in this very room, he actually told them what we do not want. And what we do not want, which was specifically written into the RFP, is we did not want repurposed curriculum. That you get something existing, you tear off the cover, you put Common Core on it, you stamp it, and you say, here it is. And so we wanted something that was designed from the bottom up around the new standards that truly reflects what we expect our students to be able to know and do.
One more question regarding, I'm sorry, with Williams, though, one of the aspects of it is that students have to have access to it, right, and they have to be able to take it home. So if we're talking about iPads that are not going to go home, so are they going to go home? Are they not going to go home to be Williams compliant? And my question was primarily, first, was that a selling point at the beginning? If it wasn't, it wasn't. I'm just curious. But my concern is future funding, because we will have to replace these iPads or whatever technology we purchase. And we have a specific set of money set aside for this right now, and yes, it's going to cost money to be able to develop it, but there has to be a sustainability plan. And I thought that savings of the textbook, quote unquote, however we use the terminology, was going to be one of the areas where we were going to have additional money. What I'm getting at is it eventually going to become a problem of the school site where they're going to have to use their own school site funding in order to replace, replenish, renew, whatever it is we need to do with technology as we're doing it now. Because right now, as it stands, we are responsible for our technology. And when I say we, I'm sorry, I mean that as a school site.
Sure. Yes, I get that. So when the state adopts a curriculum, textbook, then once the district chooses to use that curriculum, then it meets the requirement for Williams. So in the current digital curriculum that we have for Pearson, as the state adopts it, then we will be able to use that to meet that requirement. So I'm trying to be as concise as I can with my answer because it's kind of a complex issue. But that's going to be contingent on other factors such as the iPads being able to go home and that kind of a thing like you referenced. So when that happens, then there isn't the need to buy a separate math textbook for that student because the device with the content on there provides that. And that's where the saving comes in, but that's down the road when all of these other contingency pieces fall into place.